Are you okay? That's a question I get asked a lot. And there's only one response to that question. I'm doing good. I'm doing all right. I'm doing so great. Just because I don't want to talk about how I feel. About how I really feel. Because life is hard. Unforgiving. It just takes and takes and takes. Until eventually you have nothing left to give. Why is it so hard to stay sober? To be sober inside of this life? And that it might be easy for you. You might not know what a drug is, you might not know what a substance is. But I'll tell you, when you wake up in the morning and you still wake up with that pain and you want that coffee, or you want that cigarette, or you want that alcoholic beverage, or you want that grass, I don't know what it is. I don't even know if you do anything like that. I know I smoke. Weed, medical, or whatever. I have been for a little bit, and I've talked about it in the past. But just why is it so goddamn hard to just go through this life and not think about the bad? Because my mind makes everything so much more worse than it already is. And that's the reality. Every morning, waking up, trying to figure out what to do. Trying to figure out who to be. Trying to figure out what you need to do. Just to be left with nothing. Just to be left with your own thoughts. And that's the worst. Alone inside of a big world. Trying to find someone who actually cares about you. Just to find nobody. But that's life, You go around and you try your best just to get turned over. And maybe that's how it will always be. Because it was never up to the world, it was always up to me. I was the one who called the shots. I was the one who made the decisions. Everybody always says they don't want to be here. They don't want to live. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. But as soon as they come face to face with what they wish for, there's a reason why you have to be careful for what you wish for. Because you might not like exactly what you get. Even the good things. You might see a path. You might think it's good. But there's a reason why they tell you in this life you pick your poison. Because everything is going to kill you. Life is a suicide mission. You're on your way to die. No matter which way you go. You can go that way, up, down, left, right, enjoy yourself, not enjoy yourself. The trip finally stops. And it comes to an end. Whenever it's ready. And every day is a miracle. Every day is a blessing. Every day I open my eyes and I'm able to see. I'm able to look around. But it's coated in pain. Coated in suffering. Coated in trying to figure out answers when I can't just live. I am alive, but I am not living. I'm trying my best to go out there and live my life day by day, but it's hard. I was just about to say it's impossible. Because sometimes it seems that way. Sometimes it seems like every time I try to go out there and do something that I want to do, I can't do it. Because maybe it's my head. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's an imbalance. I can't tell you what it is. And I can't tell you why it's there. All I can tell you is that it is. And that it haunts me every single day. In the back of your mind, there is regret after regret after regret. And you don't want to say how you feel. When someone asks you if you're doing okay or all right, you just say that you are doing fine because you don't want to get into it. You don't want to talk about how every single morning you wake up in pain, agony, waiting for that next fix, whether it's a cup of coffee, whether it's a cigarette, a vape, I don't know what it is. But all I know is that what's keeping me alive is slowly killing me. And that is the worst feeling ever. Because one day you're going to have to come face to face with reality. And oh boy, is that going to be a rude awakening. Because you're going to have to sit there and you're going to have to take it all, soak it all in. Your worst day was probably only your worst day because your mind made it worse than what it actually was. In this life, you're going to see things. You're going to have things happen to you, good, bad, in between, middle, up, down. I don't know. And you're going to have to figure out how to cope with it all. Some people turn to drugs and alcohol. Some people turn to, I don't know. Everybody is a slave to something. And that just gave me chills down my back because everybody is. Whether it's your career, whether it's a person, whether it's a drink, whether it's something, you slave to it. Try to find a way to make it work. But someday, there will be a day where you want to take the hooks off of your body, where you want to go out there and actually live. Breathing, smelling, hearing, just to not even live. Just to take it for granted. Just to not even appreciate it at all. I don't know why it's hard to do normal things, to make friends, to talk to people, to try to have a normal conversation, to not have a drink in the morning. Life is hard, man. Life is so hard that death has to be easy. Maybe one day you'll know what it all means. Maybe one day I'll understand what it all stands for. But right now I just sit here and I stare, trying to put it all together. Even though there was nothing to put together in the first place, because I understand that there is no answers. That I can't explain why things happen, they just do. And do they do. Because the one thing that I could really tell you, the one thing that is real and present, is that I am here and I can make any decision that I wish. And it doesn't matter what I do. Good, bad. It's my unique individual life. And I can't say that I wasted it because I was the one living it. You lose nothing in trying. I try every day. It doesn't mean it actually gets me somewhere. But maybe one day it will. Because with every single failure gives you that 1 extra % chance to succeed. There's a reason why you need to take 1,000 L's before you could even take 1 W inside of this life. It's because of the way of the world. It's because of the way things go. You look around trying to get your next thing, just to come up short. Just to come up and not even know what you're talking about. Because your demons learned how to swim, didn't they? You can never just let the past be the past. You always have to revisit. Because I found out the only way to heal a wound in this life is to stop touching it. I'm talking about physical wounds and mental wounds. You got to stop touching it. You got to stop going back. Because this life is going to tell you can't do things. But you most definitely can. As long as you take it second by second and you realize that with every minute you are alive, breathing, here. And that's pretty cool. Even if it doesn't seem like it's pretty cool. Discovering substances is like discovering cheat codes to the world. A cheat code to being happy, a cheat code to feeling nice. But little did we know everything comes at a cost. Everything comes at a cost. Including the good things. Including the times where you don't make a decision. Because inaction, well, that's an action all in by itself. All in of itself. That is an action. Inaction is an action. Indecision is a decision. And the quicker you realize that they are, the quicker you can start doing you. The quicker you can start being you. I still need to go back and ask the question, why is it so hard to be sober, like in a regular state of mind, not have a cup of coffee, not have a cigarette, not in my vape, not do anything? And maybe you are able to just live. Maybe you are able to just go around and be happy. I used to be at one point. I used to wake up and feel okay. But then life happened. And you realize that after life happens, it shatters all of your hopes, all of your dreams. And it leaves you shattered. A broken individual, left to pick up the pieces. But you don't know where they go. You never even knew you had them. Nobody exists on purpose. It's crazy. You know? Looking, being, seeing, hearing. I think, therefore I am. I know I'm here. It's still in my mind, therefore I know it's real. I know what happened. I want to get better. There's something inside of me that wants to change. That wants to be different. But there's also that darkness inside of you that's constantly trying to eat at you, pull you down, waste your energy, waste your time, waste your life. Because that is exactly what it is trying to do. I know this video is titled, "Why is it so hard staying sober?" or whatever, but I'm just talking about life. I'm just talking about why things are so crazy. Not even difficult, because life is not that difficult if you really get out there and do. If you stop thinking about doing and start actually doing, you'll see that the magic that you were looking for was just inside the work you are avoiding. But as soon as you start actually doing things, as soon as you start rolling, as soon as you are getting that ball rolling, and they only want you to think about today, it's hard not to think about tomorrow. It's hard not to think about how I'll never touch another cigarette again. Or how I'll never touch something else ever again. It's hard to think about that kind of stuff. You know, oh, forever, I'm never gonna do it again, ever again. Start to panic, don't you? You start to ask yourself, what's the point of it all? You know, that if I'm gonna be here, I might as well be happy. You know, but turns out they were worse. Turns out that they were worse than what they said. You know, because all the substances do, they just make you forget the good times that actually do matter. You know, because in this life, all you have is the happy memories. All you have is the good times. And if you continue to feed the negative ones, the thoughts that grow are the thoughts you feed. If you continue to feed the negative, the trauma, that is what will show, unfortunately. And maybe there will never be a day where you wake up and you are fully okay. But maybe there could be a day where you wake up and begin living. Pain stops you from living. But pain is not going to stop you from dying. Because one day you will. You know, and there's not going to be a moment of hesitation for you. There's not going to be forgiveness. You know, because a big part of life is forgiving. Not only forgiving the people that did you wrong, but forgiving yourself. For everything you've done. For all the things you've been through. You got to give yourself some slack, man. Life is hard. It's really hard. And sometimes you feel like you can't do it. Like you'll never be able to do it. But I promise you that you can. You know, that it will be hard. But one day, you will be healed. You know, because there's nothing in this world that could hurt you more than your thoughts. And there's nothing in this world that could heal you more than your thoughts. But being alone with yourself for too long only brings bad. It doesn't bring any good. I want to socialize. I want to make friends. I want to be happy. I want to do things. I don't know why it's so hard for me. I don't know why I make it so difficult on myself, because I am everything that is wrong with me. It's not someone else's fault. It's not what they did or what happened to me. It's all just me. It's all my choices that I make right now. And even when everything does seem good, there's always a tomorrow. Because it doesn't matter how great you were today. Are you great tomorrow? Or no, it doesn't matter how good you were yesterday. Are you good today? That's why life is a constant push and pull. Never once giving you a break. Never once asking for anything. Except your entire soul and your entire body. That's what it wants from you. Life will take everything from you. It is a suicide mission. Remember that. That no matter what you try to do, no matter how many good turns you take, no one has done this thing 100% right. You'll end up in the same spot. You'll realize that there was never a place. But it was always about the journey. Always about what you were doing right now. Trying your best to appreciate every single moment of this life. Because it is beautiful, it is unique, and it is special. As much as we don't want to believe it is. It is. I'm going to try to get out there. The whole reason why I'm making this video in the first place is because, as some of you guys know, I have a medical card for medical Mary Jane. And I just don't want to go buy it. I just don't. I want to live my life. But it's harder than it sounds. It's harder than just saying it. It's hard to actually embody it. But maybe, just maybe, one day I could be set free. Have a free soul. But until that day comes, I will fight every single day. Because it's hanging from the clouds, I can't say that. Life is tough, man. Sometimes you don't even want to continue, You don't want to press that continue button. You don't want to continue to move on, because you know what's coming. You know what is ahead. And you don't want to deal with it, do you? I don't blame you. I've noticed something. That whenever you start talking to somebody, or whenever you start watching a video like this, or whenever you start watching or doing or talking or seeing someone that is in the same pain as you, or someone that just tells you things are going to be okay, they really do become a little bit better. Because you realize that you are not alone. And you realize that there are millions out there just like you. Fighting, struggling to survive. And it's even harder when you realize how much worse people have it. At least I have a car. At least I have a house I can go back to. At least I have some kind of food. But showing your wounds do not heal mine. Unfortunately. And it doesn't matter how much time. Even when you start talking about your feelings, they're like, oh, you should be fine. Everything's fine. But just, it doesn't take away that feeling. It's always there. You always wake up with that same pain in your chest. I hope you took something from this video. Or maybe you took nothing. That is completely fine too. But I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you caring about my struggle or whatever. Everyone goes through the struggle. In order to achieve beauty, one must go through the mud. And go through the mud we will. And one day you'll finally realize that shovel you were holding to dig your own grave, you never had to hold that shovel. all you have to do is put it down and go off and live your life. So stay positive and try your best. Try your best. Just don't lay your head down and wait for your life to unfold, because it won't. It just won't.